Rear end collision and citation issued. What are my options? This is in Texas. And before I get started, remember y'all, Reddit can't give you legal advice, laws vary by state, and I'm not your lawyer yet. I rear-ended a third-party vehicle in almost standstill traffic on the freeway.
What?
There was absolutely no damage to my vehicle. I did very gently rear-end that vehicle, and there was a minor indentation and the license plate was indented. The other driver immediately called the police, and there were no injuries and less than $1,000 of property damage, so it was not technically required. We drove off to the nearest exit and waited in a parking lot and proceeded to wait for a couple of hours. When taking photos, I noticed that he had expired out-of-state plates. I mentioned to him that we could handle this through insurance, and I pointed out his expired plates, but he wanted to continue to wait. The officer finally arrived and made note of the damage and asked us what we wanted to do. In my mind, this is the officer acknowledging that the damage was minimal and a report was not needed, but the other driver insisted, so the officer proceeded to write up a report. He separately asked us for testimony, and I told him what happened. I was ultimately given a citation for failure to control speed. I understand that I'm likely at fault, but the officer wouldn't have even issued the citation if we wanted to go through insurance. I also asked the officer if he issued the other driver citation for expired plates, but the officer said he's out of Florida and I don't enforce Florida registration. He then said, obviously you wouldn't have waited for me if there wasn't an accident. I told him that I waited because the police were contacted and it was the right thing to do, not that I was admitting any fault. Candidly, I am fully cognizant of the fact that I'm likely to be deemed at fault here because I rear-ended the other vehicle, but I'm upset that I was issued a citation on top of that and that the other driver was not when there was a clear violation. I have voice recordings of all these interactions. Do you think there's any opportunity to fight the ticket here given what seems like an unfair application of justice based on one citation being issued and not the other? He said it was almost standstill traffic. Sounds like he shouldn't have been going that fast. Sounds like he had time to stop. Sounds like he wasn't paying attention. Maybe looking at his phone. State plates thing, who cares, man? You hit somebody. You're trying to bring up some unrelated thing. That's like whenever they say, oh, well, the car in front of me didn't have insurance. So what? You hit them. When you rear-end somebody, just own up to it, okay? Whether or not that guy has expired insurance, expired plate, is irrelevant, okay? We're not gonna blame that guy for you slamming into the back of him. And it's always a low impact collision. Low property damage cases can still lead to injuries, serious injuries, and large jury verdicts because you don't know what that person has got going on in the car in front of you. So pay attention, okay? And don't try and shift the blame.